And like I said, I got asked if I'm still short the euro. I am. I closed out some of it yesterday at 110.40, added back at like 110.82 or something, somewhere around there. But it basically the euro came back and did what I thought it was going to do. I thought we were going to bounce to 111, give us an opportunity to reshort and reverse. So we did. Now the good news is from here we really know where the breakout point is for the euro. And you know when Paul said this morning, he said, hey, you know, even on a bad ADP number, I would short a rally in the euro. I don't think that's a bad idea, actually. You know, I'm going to stay short the euro as long as it stays below 112. Frankly, um, that's my take as far as you know the euro dollar goes. Um, but you know, as far as hold on really fast. Let me just modify something. Just give me 1 second. Hold on. Just make sure I got the right numbers here. Um, okay, so the thing about the euro dollar, even if it breaches these highs right here, we're just going to move that up because that high comes in at 111.10 basically 111.11, but 111.10. Even if it breaks highs, being on the short side of the euro dollar, like I would add if I can up to that's okay. There we go. Like shorting it up here at 111.50, that wouldn't, in my opinion, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Even if we have a weak ADP. Okay, now that would put us at, let's see what that would put us at. The 786, which comes in at 111.50, I don't think that's a bad trade. All right, if that happens, like if we get a rally here. All right. Now, the flip side is we have 110.25, which is going to be probably pretty key support. So if we come down here, we probably aren't going to get much further than that today. And the reason why I say that is because you know people just aren't going to get too aggressively short the euro dollar, even if the ADP comes in line. Now now when you talk about ADP, you know people just want to make sure that this month's jobs number is just not going to be a disaster. That's what everybody's you know everybody's more concerned with because no one wants a repeat of last month, right? No one wants a repeat of last month because last month's jobs numbers was a complete, you know, an utter disaster. So um, no one wants to see that again. So therefore, as long as the ADP comes in somewhere in line, we'll probably get some dollar strength that pushes back down here. Now, any dollar weakness probably capped at 111.10, and if it pops through that, we're going to 111.50. Okay, so I'm going to put down 110.25, 111.10, 111.50, right? Okay. Bias, I think it's still bearish while we're below 112. Okay, while we're below 112, it's still bearish. Now it's going to take the bearish kind of the bearish spin off of it if we move up here, but those are the um, anyway. So I think that's where that's what we're dealing with right now with the euro. Let's go over to the cable. So the pound, you know, is holding up pretty well. You know, there were some comments that came out earlier this morning about hold on, ECB expect negative spillovers to euro area on leave vote. Oh, that's what's moving. That's what moved the euro down a little bit. Um, got it. Okay. Okay. So We have in the cable. I was looking at the pound. I'm looking at the euro. The euro just got a little bit of a move lower because of that news that came out. ECB expected negative spillovers to euro area on leave vote. Pauly also says ECB says size of negative inflation shock needs to be considered when looking at time horizon to raise prices. So in other words, deflation. Why would they say negative inflation? Why don't you just say deflation? Call it what it is. Anyway, um, okay, going back over to the cable. All right, so the cable 131.20 is going to be really key resistance. I think if we can get up there, I might actually take a pop shot at the cable at 131.20 if we can make it all the way up there. Now it's 100 pips away, and we need to get back above 131.20 to become bullish or to neutralize. I won't even say that. I mean, if we get back above 131.20, it'll take some of this downside pressure off. But I think overall, the pound's still bearish. Even if we'd have to get all the way back above like 135 and change to really take the bearish spin off the cable. In my opinion. Okay. Now, as far as where support is today, like I said yesterday, the bounce back and the long wicks in the pound has created some bullish. You know, the bears are a little stunned right now. They're like, okay, I don't want to really get short down here anymore. You know, I'm going to start covering some of my shorts. So on dips, we're seeing some buyers now. I would think that we have to get back below here to really invigorate the bear camp again. Okay, personally, I don't even know if we're going to make it down there anytime between now and Friday, or now on non-farm payroll, meaning in the next 24 hours. One of the other things to think about too. Yeah, see, I would be a seller right there if I can get it. Okay, so support today would be at 129.40. This is where support is today, 129.40. Okay. Here, let me get rid of this. That's where support is today, 129.40. Because if we plow through that, then you're starting to talk about another bear flag. You know what I'm saying? Like if we come plowing through the support, then you're gonna have a bear flag playing out. It's gonna look like this. I'm just imagining, you know, if we stop here and we reverse and we come down through here, we'll have a bear flag playing out. So, just food for thought. Okay, where am I at? Swissy. Let's go over to Swissy. Swissy's a big hot mess right now. Okay, so the 786 is holding. That's certain, right? That's basically 98 cents. So I'll write that down. Okay, support here. You notice how we created a double bottom, and that double bottom played out. That was an hourly double bottom. There was your neckline right here. That played out pretty perfectly. It's already out. It's already done. So nothing to do with it now. There's nothing going on now. But this is really going to be key, 97.40. So I don't think there's anything to do with the Swissy unless you get above 98 cents or you get below 97.40. Then you can target these highs, then you can target these lows, but nothing to do right now. 97.40, 97.40, and we're in a range. Okay. All right, let's go over to the yen. Okay. right. Dollar yen. So I shorted the dollar. And I'm going to ask you guys this. Yesterday, how many of you guys shorted the dollar yen at 101.40 yesterday? Anybody? Aaron did. Anybody else? I shorted it twice at 101.40 yesterday. We had opportunities all day long yesterday to sell it at 101.40. Aaron, you're the only one that actually you're still short. That's good. You're the only one that like took advantage of our why do I even do the bias chart? So we're sitting down here yesterday and said, hey, if we get a rally back to 101.40, it's going to be a good short. So we get a rally back to 101.40 and three of you guys shorted it? Really? That's it? I'm not still short. I shorted it like a couple of times, and I shorted once in Asia. I shorted it, well, not Asia, like early Asia, early, like late New York is actually the dead zone. I shorted it in New York session. I hope some of you guys took advantage of that. I mean, we went right back, right to previous support, current resistance. All right, it's key. I do this for you guys, not. I mean, obviously a strong bearish trend, so you rally into some resistance and you just trade back in the direction of the trend. All right, whatever, people. Okay. I gotta figure out where support's at. Well, I guess support's at to right now it's at 110.60 because if we break below that means that was a weak non ADP 100.60. Okay. Because if we take out that like let's say, and I'm just going to throw this out there. If we have ADPs expected about 150, 160,000 jobs, right? Anywhere near that number, the dollar is going to have a favorable bounce. I mean, we can post 140,000 jobs with ADP, and the dollar is probably going to get a lift. All right. So I think the dollar yen will actually come right back up to 101.40. I don't know if I'll short it after a strong ADP, just to let you all know. But if it's a weak number, okay, if it's a weak number, and let's say the ADP number comes in at 90,000 jobs, we're probably going to gun for 100. All right, we're probably going to move for. We're going to probably break through the support and move for 100. If it's a really weak ADP number today, just FYI, that would be my opinion. Because people will start to think that the jobs report this last month was not a one-off. You know what I mean? All right. Anyway, where am I at? Dollar yen, dollar Canadian. Okay. So I actually just picked up some dollar Canadian a little bit earlier, right here actually. But notice the 618. Doot, 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 618. Yesterday we ran up towards resistance. We've been talking about um, the dollar Canadian, really key resistance up here. I was long earlier this week. I sold it early, like 60 pips too early. Anyway, we've made some nice rallies. I drew here. Let's get rid of this because I was trying to fit the trend lines in to match like the most recent spike, and basically we had to cut out a couple of wicks there, but what it does is it makes the triangle pretty symmetrical. All right, all right. And so again, I don't know how this trend line is drawn. I mean, the thing about technical analysis is you have to be flexible. And that you notice that I change every day when we sit down here. I have to move some lines a little bit based on price action, but the general picture is there. It's just, how is the market viewing it, because there is no perfect way. And it's kind of like art. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Same with technical analysis, but there's some things like the 618 that's obviously very significant. So 129.15 is going to be pretty good support today. It's the way I was looking at it. It's like, okay, well, I can get long the dollar Canadian. I just got a small position, but as long as that 129.15 is holding, that's fine. I would suspect any move back up towards 130 to 130.50 is going to be really good resistance. Okay, and that's probably significant up there. We are in a range. Let's go over to the stupid frickin' Kiwi. All right, here's the stupid frickin' Kiwi. So the Kiwi, while I was sleeping, damn it, it pisses me off because it was underperforming yesterday. It wasn't going up. The Aussie was ripping. The Kiwi wasn't going up, but we stopped at a 38% retracement at 71.40. I said, well, I'm going to take a short, and I'll just stick my stops up here. Yeah, I got stopped out overnight. This stupid thing, it actually ended up doing what I thought it was going to do yesterday, but it happened obviously in European trade. I drew this out yesterday during the morning edge. You guys remember? Said, oh, there's going to be resistance up here at 72 and change. 72, I think we wrote down 72.05 or maybe 72.15. I mean, we ended up doing it overshooting because of the comments from the deputy finance minister or whoever the hell it was speaking last night. But the Kiwi obviously ripped higher, and we've got a doji developed on a 4-hour. As Paul was saying, there's a spinning top. Yeah, it's a doji. Could be a shooting star. Depends on how we close here in the next hour, which ADP is going to influence this. But 72.40, this is a big deal now. Okay, right here, 72.40 is a big deal, because if we break through that, I'm not going to be happy being short the Kiwi, even with Aussie New Zealand. Okay, we are in a range, but we're at the upper end of our triangle here. All right, now support, should the Kiwi give up these gains, which would be really pleasant in my view. Let's be right here. You see how that was capping prices, and then we spiked up through there thanks to that jag off. Yeah, I said it. Jag off. All right, so that's going to be good support on the way back down. 71.55. 71.55. Obviously some strong Kiwi momentum today. Let's go over to the Aussie. Here's the Aussie. So the Aussie. Now, last night, I was like, when the Aussie, we were in Asian trade, we were starting to break out, and I'm like, oh, look, we're starting to break out. Oops, here, let me get rid of that. I'm like, oh, look, we're starting to break out, and then the S&P comes out right there. This was green. You have to imagine, this was green at one point. This was green, and it was looking like it was breaking out in Asian trade, and then S&P cut the Australian debt, and it went, the bottom fell out of it, recovered, and here we are. And I was so happy that the Aussie was breaking higher, because I was, being long the Aussie New Zealand, I was like, yeah, because the Aussie New Zealand's at 105.50. I'm like, woohoo! And then all of a sudden that S&P news comes out. So this is also, very significant for the Aussie right here, which comes in at 75.50. Okay, that is significant. On a weak jobs number, we can bust out of those. These resistance. If we have a weak ADP number, we could very easily clear these two levels here. And I think that anybody who's long the Aussie and who's long the Kiwi is waiting and hoping for that, you know. All right, support. So you have to go with the spike low in Asia, which is right here, okay? Because I don't know where the high is yet. I don't know if this is the high. I don't know if that's the high. I don't know if it's a double top yet. All I know is that support right there, that spike low in Asian trade is going to be very significant. 74.65. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to squeeze out the dollar really quick. All right. Let's see. That. Okay, so here's our dollar. Now, one thing about the dollar, I want you guys to see this. I actually posted this on Forex Analytics last night. We have a bull flag pattern, right? Rally, flagging. You can see the big flag pattern right here, right? Let me grab a pen. Okay. We got the big flag pattern right here, right? You guys see that? Then we have this little one here. Whoops. See that little one? Okay. So there's a flag pattern and a flag pattern. And what you'll notice is this hourly. Now, the flag's probably a little long in the tooth here as far as, development-wise. But, it's got to wait for ADP, right? So I'm going to get rid of that fib for now. So if we break below 95.85 is probably on a weak ADP number. 95.85, 95.85. Resistance now will be at 96.50. Because, see, if this... Oops. Something like that, right? So 96.50. It's not bullish yet, but it's got some bullish potential. It's just not bullish yet. Okay, I'm going to put you on break. I'll be going to run to the restroom. I'll be back in a few minutes to do the peso, Swedish krona, Norwegian krona, and we'll see if I can address a couple of questions before the ADP non-farm. Thanks for being here. Don't go anywhere. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. We got to finish up the rest of these currencies. Let's go over to the US dollar, Mexican peso. So the peso, look at the volatility in the peso. That's a pretty wild ass chart. I've been doing a little bit of peso trading. I don't want to say success. It's successfully in the sense that I haven't lost money, but I've been getting in, mistiming, because you get a lot of these overshoots, and you can just see the post-Brexit massive volatility that we're seeing right now. This is the Brexit vote. This is the daily, so Brexit vote, post-Brexit, all over the place. The peso is not a currency pair for the faint of heart, but it does have a lot of volatility. That's one thing about the peso that I've noticed. It has a lot of volatility in it. And I actually enjoy trading it. It's a little, right now it's a little choppy. Let me see something really quick. And I think I'm going to write down the same numbers that I had yesterday, which is 1810 right here, or 1811, and 19, which will be the 786. And I think we're just going to leave it at that. And I think, one thing that you have to understand, that if the U.S. dollar Mexican peso is spiking higher, that may not necessarily be a product of that may not be a product of a strong peso. That may be more of a product of, or a strong dollar peso, weak peso. It may be more of a product of risk aversion. All right, so that's something that I think everybody needs to understand. 18.10, 19.0, and we're in a range right now, 18.11, actually. Okay, let's go over to the US dollar Swedish krona, or the Norwegian krona. Actually, we'll do that first. So the US dollar Norwegian krona, we had a nice shooting star yesterday, but it produced very little downside. I was surprised. You know what's most surprising about, I'll tell you, I didn't see if there was any economic data overnight in Norway. There was. Industrial production numbers came in worse than expected. Year over year did. Manufacturing production numbers came in not so good. Interesting. Okay, and so that I guess that's the reason why the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona has moved up again. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I think you should keep an eye on the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona is crude, because if crude, which had a real significant bounce yesterday, like a $2 bounce, if crude gives up these gains, this U.S. dollar Norwegian krona is going higher. Okay, and I say that because you got, the Norwegian krona, or crown, or krone, whatever you want to call it, it'll be weakened by crude oil, but if it's not pulling back. So if we get a stronger jobs report, stronger ADP here in a few minutes, weaker crude, this thing could really rally. So 851, and then I'll write down 835. I thought for sure we were going to come down here, because I was looking to buy it again, but I thought we were come all the way down here. We just haven't. 835. 851. 855. Oops. 8.55. Okay. I don't think do I have room for all these zeros? I do. Okay. All right. We are in a range right now. Swedish krona. Same thing, holding up pretty good here. Now, we didn't have any Swedish news overnight. We did not, but it's holding up pretty well. 860. This is going to be, if we can clear that. All right, 850. Okay, we are in a range. All right, so there you go. Your bias chart is done. And let's address some of your questions really quick.